So we had all those main components of programming checked off. And this is CrossFit programming, not HillerFit, not your weird little CrossFit competency in whatever spreadsheet you made up. That is not CrossFit. That is totally irrelevant. Does not matter. Sorry. None of those things are what you should be basing this off of. You made that up. That's not real. Yo, starting this video a little bit differently because this is a rebuttal to Andrew Hiller's most recent videos. He made 2 yesterday, 1 live. He called me to jump on live with him, and unfortunately I couldn't because I was about to coach. We are friends. I've known Andrew for years. We chat every so often. And he called me to be on his live video because he knows that I tend to disagree with him. I tend to have a different point of view. I don't think this was the worst open ever. I'm actually going to go through and prove that it is, in fact, a incredibly well-rounded, robust test of fitness, and it is like almost a perfect example of CrossFit. What I'm going to do, actually, because I just passed my CrossFit level 3 test back in January, so I have all these like note cards and things from that. And so I'm just going to go through those note cards and talk about how they apply to this open and talk about how this open like literally checked all of the boxes of the main components of CrossFit. And the more I've thought about this and thought about what I'm going to say in this video, the more I've realized that this was actually a really brilliant open, programmed very, very well, given the limitations we have of the 3 weeks and stuff like that. So the first thing I wanted to address is he compares it to the 2020 Open. And I think it's important to take a step back and look at how this season is structured very differently and why it's not really fair to compare just this Open to the 2020 Open. So like the 2020 Open was a great test. Very difficult, high skill. You had to be a near games athlete to do well in that. And that was because that year and the year prior, so to the 2019 and the 2020 Open, was sending people directly to the games. Those were the 2 years following Glassman's basically evisceration of the media team and the game season. He got rid of regionals and all this other stuff. And so those opens had to be a very difficult test because of the stakes that were in place. People could qualify directly to the games from those opens. The 2023 season, all we're doing right now with this open is moving on to quarterfinals, and then you're going to move to semifinals. So at the end of those 3 stages, open, quarterfinals, and semifinals, that would be a fair comparison of this season to the 2020 Open. So, Hiller, I challenge you to, at the end of this semifinals, look at all the programming, because Boz will have programmed all of it. Semifinals is basically regionals, what that was back in 2018. People are competing in the region that they live in or are from, whatever. And CrossFit is programming the entire event. It's not like the sanctionals or the semifinals where there was mixed programming or other people programming. Like, it's CrossFit. It's Bosman. So that is one of my first points, is simply that saying that the 2023 Open doesn't compare to the 2020 Open, which you view as the best one, is because there had to be more components in the 2020 Open because people were qualifying straight to the games. Plus, it was 5 weeks versus 3. So let's start with CrossFit's aim. Forge a broad, general, and inclusive fitness, prepare for the unknown and unknowable, and in sum, our specialty is not specializing. So that's my little note card there. So one of your main points, Hiller, was a specialist could come in and crush 23.2A or 23.2B, or Matt Frazier, who had a weightlifting background, could have done decently well at 23.3. So yeah, that's that. Like, and also, so the idea is, sure, there could be individual events where someone who is a specialist in weightlifting or a specialist in gymnastics or something could have done well. Like the 2012 open. The first workout, 7 minutes of burpees, which you referenced, some random dude in Russia won 12.1. Not a CrossFitter, just some random dude who was really good at burpees, crushed everyone, and then has never been heard from again because he's not a CrossFitter. He was a specialist, and that's the whole point. CrossFitters are going to do pretty well. They may not win the event, but they're going to do pretty well. And then over the course of a series of tests where individual specialists might do well in that event, the CrossFitter, are going to finish near enough that by the end of the event, they will be at the top. That's the whole point of CrossFit. So fitness is work capacity across broad time and modal domains. So a good CrossFit program has a couple main components to it. The modalities are gymnastics, so body weight movements, weightlifting, anything with an external load, and then monostructural, so high cycle repetitive movements, running, jump roping, rowing, things like that. So when you look at the 2023 Open, every workout had a monostructural, a gymnastics, and a weightlifting piece. It was very well-rounded. Now, I'm clumping together 23.2 A and B in that. But 23.1, you had rowing, monostructural. You had toes to bar, which is gymnastics. And then you had wall balls, which is weightlifting. So right there, we've got all those 3 boxes checked. And then from wall balls, it went to the cleans. So we had weightlifting again, and then we had muscle ups, gymnastics. And then if you were good enough, you would get back to the rower, monostructural again. 23.2, we had burpee pull-ups, that is a gymnastics movement, and we had shuttle runs, that is monostructural, and then you had the thruster, weightlifting. And then 23.3, we had wall walks, gymnastics, we had double unders, monostructural, and we had the snatch, weightlifting. And then, of course, handstand push-ups, and then, or hand release push-ups if you were doing scaled. So again, you had all modalities in every workout. You could not ask for better in that sense. Now, let's look at other aspects of programming. So there are 4 main components of like a CrossFit workout. We've got single modality. So that's just one thing. So that'd be like a 5K run or say a 1 rep max thruster. Single modality. Boom. Got that checked off. We've got couplets. That's where you pair 2 movements together in a workout going back and forth. So 23.2A was a couplet. Burpee pull-ups and shuttle runs. Then we have triplets. 23.3. You had 2 separate triplets, but basically the same. A gymnastics, monostructural, weightlifting triplet. So 3 movements together. And then you have chippers, which are usually 4 or greater movements, where you do usually like higher rep, and then you just kind of chip your way through it. So we had all those main components of programming checked off. And this is CrossFit programming, not HillerFit, not your weird little CrossFit competency and whatever spreadsheet you made up. That is not CrossFit. That is totally irrelevant. Does not matter. Sorry. None of those things are what you should be basing this off of. You made that up. That's not real. So we've got our modalities. So broad time, fitness, work capacity across broad time and modal domains. So we've got the domains. We've got the different programming formats, broad time. So we had, I guess we can go into the different styles. So there's, a workout can be for load. So we had the thruster. A workout can be for reps. So we had 23.2A and 23.1. Those were both 4 reps. 23.3 kind of was for reps, but for the elite athletes, it was actually for time. There was a time component to it. So those are the 3 main ways that you can score a workout: load, reps, and time. So boom, again, we have all the boxes checked. You had task priority, you had time priority. Like it literally checked all of the boxes for CrossFit programming in 3 events. That is awesome. That is well-rounded. That is fitness. Work capacity across broad time and modal domains. There was different domains. There was different time frames. There was, short. We had short with 23.3. We had moderate with 23.1, 14 minutes. And then we basically had long, which is 20 minutes, in 23.2, because you had to go right from 23.2A into 23.2B. You had to. So that's checked off. Now let's talk about the 4 models of fitness, because this is again, I'm basically just going through the CrossFit level 1 here, talking about what is fitness and what is CrossFit and explaining how it perfectly pertains to 23.3, or you could say 23.3 perfectly pertains to this, because guess what? Adrian Bosman knows what he's doing. He's been in CrossFit for a long time. He knows this stuff. He knows this really well. So going through the 4 models of fitness. Number 1, we've got the 10 general physical skills. Let's start with cardiorespiratory endurance. The ability of body systems to gather, process, and deliver oxygen. 23.2a was endurance, because you had to be able to intake oxygen, distribute it to your body, and be able to keep moving. And then it was also stamina. That's the second of the 10 general physical skills, which is the ability of body systems to process, deliver, store, and utilize energy. So that's like getting it to your shoulders, your arms. You talked about how you had to have basically stamina of upper body to continue moving on the burpees. And then you had to have endurance to be able to run instead of walk to do well on that workout. So we've got endurance and stamina checked off in this test. And of course, you could apply these to 23.1 and 23.3 as well. Strength, the ability of a muscular unit or combination of muscular units to apply force, the productive application of force. Absolutely, we had to use our strength. Flexibility. Someone in your comments literally said, I don't think this was a test of fitness because my shoulder mobility wouldn't allow me to get to the tape line. Fitness is one of the 10 general physical skills, which is one of the models of CrossFit. Yes, being flexible is absolutely a component of fitness, and you should work on that. So flexibility, the ability to maximize the range of motion at a given joint. Power, the ability of a muscular unit or a combination of muscular units to apply maximum force in minimal time. 1 rep max thruster. Boom. Speed, the ability to minimize the time cycle of a repeated movement. Double unders, shuttle runs. Boom, checked off. Coordination, the ability to combine several distinct movement patterns into a singular distinct movement. Things like the snatch, things like a burpee pull-up. Coordination, boom, checked off. Agility, the ability to minimize transition time from one movement pattern to another. Burpee pull-up again. The muscle up. Boom, checked off. Balance, the ability to control the placement of the body's center of gravity in relation to its support base. Handstand push-ups, wall walks, muscle ups, any of those things. Boom, checked off. And then finally, accuracy, the ability to control movement in a given direction or at a given intensity. Burpee pull-ups, wall balls, all those movements. So 23.3 very effectively checked off the first model of fitness, which is the 10 general physical skills. Then we've got the hopper model, which basically says your ability to do well at any random test pulled out of this hopper over the course of multiple events defines your fitness. It tells you how well-rounded you are as an athlete. So your whole point about specialists being able to come in and do well, it's like, okay, great, cool, but over the course of multiple events, they're not going to be that high, and the CrossFitter is going to be higher. We are going to see pretty much mostly all CrossFitters at the top of the leaderboard after the leaderboard submissions close later tonight, because this is a well-rounded test. So that's the hopper. Then we've got metabolic pathways. Yeah, so we've got 3 main ones here. The phosphagen pathway, phosphocreatine, the anaerobic pathway. So short 10 seconds, maximum effort stuff. So we've got the 1 rep max thrust here. Boom. The glycolytic pathway, the lactate. About 2 minutes, medium duration, anaerobic. So again, still without oxygen, medium intensity. So that's going to be like 23.3, where it's like, dude, you've just got to go. It's pretty short. You've just got to go. Can you keep moving? Can you beat that time cap and push yourself? Okay. And then we've got the oxidative, the aerobic, greater than 120 seconds. It's long. Again, aerobic with oxygen, which we touched on. 23.2 was very much an aerobic test. And because you had to keep moving. 15 minutes of a couplet. That's a long couplet. Got to keep moving. So boom, right there. Now we've got the metabolic pathways, the third model of fitness checked off. And then finally, the last model of fitness, we've got the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum, which is effectively saying, what is your fitness over time, which is health. And because we had that repeat checked in, we were able to measure health for a lot of athletes who were still doing it in 2014, still doing it now. So we actually had all of the 4 models of CrossFit, of fitness, checked off. We have an incredibly well-rounded, robust test here. So when you look at actual CrossFit, how it's defined in the level 1, this open fit that perfectly. You brought up that there was no like just burner, like lung crushing, like, oh my God, I don't think I could ever do that at workout again. I never want to do that workout again. That was so hard. And you say that that's a reason that this open was lacking. Well, we touched on all of the 10 general physical skills, like all that stuff. There were people, depending on your level, that multiple workouts did feel that way. They had to push to that point. So you were looking at it from just like the high level athlete point, but for the high level athletes, there's more test to happen. So it's not a complete test. It's not fair to compare it to these past opens that had 5 weeks to do a more robust test. Because, even when it was 2018, there wasn't quarterfinals. So they were going directly from the open to semifinals. There wasn't that middle stage there anymore. So I actually love the current system of the open. And I'll close with this, why you should sign up for the 2024 open. And that is because the more people who sign up for the open, the more recognition, the more companies that will start to notice, all right, there's a lot of people doing this CrossFit thing. We should put our money into it. We need bigger companies coming into CrossFit to give more money, because then that's going to allow the prize purse to get bigger, which is going to allow more people to want to do CrossFit, have better athletes. And then the bigger that the CrossFit Games gets, the more people will start talking about it. It'll drive more people to affiliates. And then I, as an affiliate owner, can have a better impact on these people. If everyone signs up for the 2024 Open and they get even more money into there and even more people signed up, and then even more companies are going to want to get involved, that's going to elevate the sport. It's going to elevate everything, the affiliate owners, all of it. So you should sign up for the 2024 Open, because if you truly believe in CrossFit and you want to see your affiliate stick around and do well, then we need to support CrossFit. We need to do the 2024 Open. And if you qualify for quarterfinals, do it. See where you're at. Like, I don't think it's wrong for CrossFit to charge money for something that they are doing that takes work, it takes time, it takes energy. Sign up for those things. Show people, show the outside world that this matters. And again, we established that 2023 was actually a great test of fitness. It probably just exposed a weakness. It's a different programmer. It's not Castro anymore, so there might be some different biases. I think Boz is going to elevate the entire CrossFit community and what is expected of us of gymnastics movements. And I think that's great. So I think CrossFit's going in the right direction. I think you should sign up for the 2024 Open. I think if you qualify for any of the next stages, whether you're a master's athlete or a quarterfinals athlete, whatever, you should sign up and do it. Test yourself, get your weaknesses exposed, and then work on those weaknesses throughout the year. And then next year you can see where you rank up. So that's where I'm going to finish this off. I'm going to try and edit this down. No idea how long this is going to end up being, but yeah, that's my story. Sticking to it. Thank you for listening. See you guys at the gym.